What's good? It's a Friday night. Pick has had some time to relax, recoup, and try to figure out how I feel about this coaching staff. So, with that being said, I am going to dive into this coaching staff that Dan Quinn has assembled, and I would like to get you guys' reaction as well. I know it's a Friday night. I know you guys are out doing your thing or getting ready to go do your thing, but there's no more football after this. So, all we have to look forward to is our coaching staffs being put together, as well as the up and coming NFL draft, the combine first, then NFL draft, and then we start the whole thing over again. So while we're doing that, thought I would look right at this coaching staff and see what I like and what I don't like about it. Y'all ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
First Stream Podcast. Yeah. True Danny. Dre on the beat. You know. Yeah. What's your favorite squad? Tell me who you going with. First Stream Podcast. Yeah, we keep it lit. We got the latest updates. We don't pump fake. Like, comment, share. We don't care. Feel free to hate. We got great guests join us. You should chime in. Trudini on the intro for the time being. Lady A, representing Washington. Pick Washington, everything Washington. Mo coming out of Dallas, you know the business. Said, them Georgia Bulldogs ain't quitting. Yeah, if you ain't watching sports, you ain't living. About to get my mattress Mac on, about to bet a million. Let's talk about it. We all grown and cool, we can talk about it. Before we hit the news, we gon' talk about it. Oh, you wanna bet? Let's pop a bottle about it.
Welcome back to First Stream Podcast. Yes, this is all picked today by himself. Don't forget to like and subscribe to First Stream Podcast. Hit the bell to enable alerts for new content just like this. And I did jump out there by myself today. Listen, first off, it wasn't so long ago that Dan Quinn was named the head coach, and a lot of people were a little bit upset. I took a pause, I took a breath, and I said, let's see what kind of staff he assembles. Well, lo and behold, the staff has been assembled. The final pieces have been added, and they announced that the staff had been assembled. And today, yesterday they talked to the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. So with that being said, Cliff Kingsbury has been named the offensive coordinator. Of course, we already knew that. And then we have Joe Witt Jr. as the defensive coordinator. Let's start this first off by looking at the offensive side of the ball. Cliff Kingsbury, your offensive coordinator. And then you have this guy named David Blau, the assistant quarterback coach, which means to me that either Cliff Kingsbury is going to be hands-on with the quarterback or someone else is going to be named quarterback's coach later. We already have Pritchard. Tavia Pritchard is the quarterback's coach, and then David Blau, who has NFL experience, is the assistant quarterback's coach. Tavia Pritchard was there last year. I believe Eric Bieniemy brought him in. So this will be his second year with the organization. David Blau, like I said before, has NFL experience. The one thing that did stand out to me about this staff being assembled is a lot of these guys do have some NFL experience. The other thing that really struck me about the staff that has been assembled is this. It didn't all come from Carolina. It didn't all come from one place. There are people from every direction on this staff. The years of experience is it's incredible. And not only that, but when you look through this staff, when you dive deep into it, there are people on this staff that are wanted. Unlike last year's coaching staff, where we didn't have anybody that another team would want, but I believe we have people on our staff this year that other people want. So the way that it is on the team's website, John has arrived. The way that it is on the team website, it's in alphabetical order. So if I'm jumping around a little bit, it's just because it's in alphabetical order. So we said Tavia Pritchard is the quarterback's coach, and his assistant is David Blau. offensive assistant is Andre Coleman. Andre Coleman, that should be a name that you guys may have heard of. If you haven't heard of Andre Coleman, his bio, I had it ready, but his bio went down. Oh, okay. Yeah, it went down. Andre Coleman, we'll dive into that on Tuesday. Bobby Ingram, NFL player as well, wide receivers coach. We did get a Johnson, but we got Bobby Johnson as the offensive line coach. And we also got a Bryant Johnson, who's also been named assistant head coach, offensive pass game coordinator. Yeah, not the Bryant Johnson that everybody wanted, but it is a Bryant Johnson. How he got the title assistant head coach, I don't know. We'll dig into that one a little later as well. Anthony Lynn, run game coordinator. This is one that my co-host said scratched his head on a long time ago when Anthony Lynn was with the Chargers. He said once they found a quarterback, then all of a sudden Anthony Lynn was no longer needed. Anthony Lynn had coaching experience in the NFL, a big-time running back. This guy knows how to run the ball. He knows how to develop offenses. Between him, Cliff Kingsbury, the head coaching experience on this side of the ball is evident. I do like the fact that we did get Anthony Lynn to come to Washington. This is becoming a place where coaches, players want to come. I believe that Cliff Kingsbury may be a little soft-spoken and play coy in his press conference. I believe he's going to put some things together along with the brain trust on this side of the ball. Let me get back to it really quick. Okay, Brian Johnson, Anthony Lynn, Tavia Pritchett, as I spoke of, David Raw. I think that's how you say his last name, the tight ends coach, and Darnell Stepton is the assistant offensive line coach. And Shane is just what we're gonna go with, John. We'll figure that last name out here in a little bit. He's the offensive quality control coach. The offensive side of the ball, to me, Lady A brought this up. She brought this to my attention. There is no king on this. She was the assistant running back coach, and that position hasn't been filled. So I'll probably be looking out for maybe a coach or two added to the staff. But what impresses me most about this offensive side of the ball is the wide receivers coach, the running game coordinator, and Anthony Lynn, Brian Johnson as well. I heard of Brian Johnson. Here's John's statement right here. He says, I heard that Brian Johnson has the title mostly to help him learn the administrative staff of head coaching so he can handle that stuff. Got you. We're still going to dig into him too, John. We're still going to dig into him. Yeah, what I was saying here was Cliff Kingsbury. A lot of people criticize his offenses later in the season. It's easy to figure out because he showed you everything early. Anthony Lynn, another head coach here. You got Bobby Ingram, long time, a lot of NFL experience. David Blau, a lot of NFL experience here. Tavia Pritchett as the quarterback's coach, probably the next one to be groomed as offensive coordinator. If Cliff Kingsbury decides to roll in about maybe 3 years or so, with those guys and that brain trust right there, I believe we will have some really, really good game plans this year coming in offensively. I don't think it's going to be shotgun. We should be under center. We should run the ball. We should be playing downhill with our offensive line once we get that all figured out. I do like what they assembled on the offensive side of the ball. I can't say it enough. I do like the coaches that they have assembled on the offensive side of the ball. We all say that coaching matters, and I think they have the right people to teach the game to the players, to refine their little techniques, to be as detailed as necessary to get our guys to perform the way that we think they should perform. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go double-digit wins this season. No, this is a cruise ship. All right, it takes a long time to turn around. It's not overnight. Yes, you can do it in the NFL. The Houston Texans did it, but that's not the norm, right? We won 4 games last year. You don't go from 4 to double-digit wins in a season. You don't do that. That's not the norm. You have to have a dynamite quarterback, and we don't know if we have that yet. And even if we do get a dynamite quarterback in the NFL draft, that's still a rookie. There's always a rookie learning curve. So, yes, I know. I already hear people saying CJ Stroud, Joe Brady, Joe Burrow. I said Joe Brady combined in 2 people, Joe Burrow and things like that. But those are the exception to the rule. They are not the rule. Okay. Are y'all ready to move on to the defensive side of the ball yet? Because I am. Of course, we got Joe Witt Jr. as the defensive coordinator. And if you heard his press conference, he said, the way that we are going to play is not for everyone. We're going to run to the ball and we're going to tackle and we're going to arrive angry with bad intentions. I don't know about you. But that's the way defense is supposed to be played, right? You made me mad because you have the ball. I want the ball. I'm on the field. I'm angry because you have the ball. Now that you have the ball, it's my job to get the ball from you. And that's what all of these guys on defense are supposed to do. And he said it. The way we're going to play football is not for everybody, so you guys better be ready. He's speaking to his staff, but I believe he was also speaking to the players that will be coming back for Washington. Is get yourself in shape. You better arrive in shape because we are going to move quickly to the ball and arrive angry when we get there. And he also said we're going to take the ball away. I got Alvin Portis jumped in here too, man. He said Kingsbury and Witt are very good additions. I do agree, Al. I do agree. If we will get a chance to talk about this again with you on Tuesday, because we have an Al come back, we're going to run that back on Tuesday. So let's look at Witt Jr.'s staff. He has George Blanco as a defensive quality control, Tommy Durnell as the defensive backs coach, Sharif Floyd, assistant defensive line, William Gay, assistant defensive backs coach, Ryan Kerrigan made the cut, assistant linebackers, pass rush specialist. This one right here surprised me. Ken Norton Jr., linebacker coach, right? Joe Picano, senior defensive assistants. Jason Simmons is the defensive pass game coordinator, and Daryl Tapp is the defensive line coach. Did they kill it or did they kill it? They killed it. When they put a staff together, they killed it. This is what happens when you have a coach that has been in the league, has experience with other coaches. His tree is not limited. It's not small. These coaches came from everywhere. They came from everywhere. Who in their right mind saw Ken Norton Jr. come in here? Who? Don't be afraid. Put it in the comments if you knew that was going to happen. Come on now. This is what you get when you have a Dan Quinn, right? And I'm not knocking a Brian Johnson. I'm not knocking him at all. But what is his staff going to look like? What would his staff look like? How much of that was he going to bring from Detroit with him? Was he going to be able to go outside of Detroit? Was he going to bring some experienced players with him? You know, if you look at Kyle Shanahan and what the San Francisco 49ers did, their defensive coach that they just fired was their first outside hire. And maybe their defense is not performing the way that it did back in the past because that's a new voice. It's an outside voice. Well, you gotta recover. You got to recover from that because even though you gave up some points and things like that, you was in the Super Bowl. You had a lead, right? You had a 10-3 lead. The offense didn't score. So now you fire your defensive guy. Your offense better put up points. But back to Washington here. My point being, you have an experienced head coach, a guy who's a retread, but he never stepped away from the game, and Dan Quinn. And he built the staff in Dallas, but he didn't bring the whole Dallas defensive staff with him. He brought one coordinator and reached around the league to some of his other buddies and friends. Him and Ken Norton Jr. were in Seattle together. Ken, let's go. Let's get this thing going. William Gay, another fast riser. His bio was ridiculous. We'll talk about that one later. Ryan Kerrigan made the cut to stay with the Washington Commanders. This is where he pretty much played his whole career. Pretty much played his whole career except for the last, I think, 2 in Philly. And then he came home. It's going to be interesting to see what we do with the linebacker position because we need help there. We need help. As much as everyone wants to talk quarterback, one of the other things that I've talked about a lot is the quarterback of the defense, which is the linebacker. And if you guys tell me that linebacker play is dead in the NFL, I tell you, look at what happened in San Francisco. They have 2 amazing linebackers. And when Greenlaw went down, his running mate, probably one of the best linebackers in the league right now, he was rendered ineffective because now he can't be himself. If you look at Baltimore, Smith and Queen, 2 amazing linebackers that run that defense. And when they're not on the field, when they're not right, the defense isn't right. In Washington, we have a void in the middle of our defense. The linebackers are the glue to tie the front end to the back end. The front end and back end play together, but the linebackers are the glue. Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera both play linebacker, but couldn't identify the linebacker position. We have Ken Norton Jr. here, Ryan Kerrigan. Let's see if we can identify some first, second, and third down linebackers and make this defense do what it does, that we can start striking fear into the heart of our opponents because linebackers do that. Linebackers are probably the scariest people on the field because they are huge, they're fast. Well, yeah, I'm just going to say it like that. They're huge, they're fast, and they arrive at the point of impact angry. So I'm just going to leave it as that right there with the linebackers. And will they fix our secondary? That job will fall into the hands of our defensive back coach, Tommy. Tommy, man, you got your work cut out for you. It wouldn't be a bad idea to reach out to Darrell Green and ask him, how do you fix Ford, who's seen him all year? And he said he could do it in about 15 minutes. So it wouldn't be a bad thing. Darrell Green, Hall of Famer. He said he knows how to fix them. Emmanuel Ford, that is, Ford. So we got to go there. William Gay, the assistant defensive backs coach, and then our defensive line. No defensive ends of note right now. We traded both of those guys away, and we got to see what we can do to bolster a pass rush to get the ball out of people's hands, because we didn't have that during the season after we traded Chase and Montez. It was a clear decline in that area. And then we got to get John Allen and Daron Payne back to playing pro at all pro level. We got to get those guys going. So that's going to fall on Darryl Tapp. So let's see what goes on there. We will see you guys on Tuesday when we have hold on. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow when we have our Saturday show. I got to sleep on it. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about yet, but we going to talk. Me, Say It, Lady A, Ant will all be here. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to First String Podcast. Hit that bell to enable alerts for new content just like this right here. Appreciate y'all. Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force, First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Let's go.
Ready for your beats? All right,